up here. Hope you're all having a wonderful day out there. It's unseasonably warm here in Northern Virginia, going to be in the low 70s. So I am excited for my dog walking this afternoon. Should be beautiful. But then some rain comes tonight, so short-lived. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome again to the Lifelong Learning webinar for November. We do these every month, as many of you are probably aware, and every month is a different topic. It's really kind of neat because the topics range so widely. But again, the objective is always for a chapter or a volunteer to share some tool or process that is working well for them. And so this is really a peer-to-peer kind of a show and tell. And this month, we are welcoming Eric Robertson from SCORE, Delaware, who is going to talk about a process that has worked really well for their chapter in helping their new members get started. And so Eric is going to explain a process that they've been doing to help their new members know the essential resources in their community, because we come to SCORE and we don't oftentimes know who we should be partnering with and who we should be taking advantage of in our communities. So thank you, Eric, for joining us. And I always say this is going to be recorded, and well, now
recording
it will be
progress.
Recorded. So again, thank you, Eric, for joining us on this topic of helping new members get started at SCORE and understanding who the essential resources are. This is being recorded, and so will be available for all afterwards. So many people sign up and they say, I just want to get the recording. And so that I know that these are watched more afterwards than probably even live. But a reminder that all the lifelong learning events can be found on the support center in the lifelong learning section. So you go to that square, and when you come to the page, you can find the prior webinars, as well as resources for the knowledge exchanges if you have been able to take advantage of those. So let's get started. Eric Robertson, I am going to stop sharing my screen and let you take over. We will have plenty of time towards the end for Q&A, so feel free to enter your questions into the Q&A, any comments in the chat, and I'll see you when Eric's done presenting. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, so I guess I'm in charge now, right? So be happy to start. I have a little slide outline to present in a minute or two. My name is Eric Robertson. I'm the just recently retired chapter chair for SCORE Delaware. I'm now the treasurer for the chapter. SCORE Delaware has been in existence since the founding of the SCORE back in 1964. We are I would say, medium-sized chapter. We have 55 to 60 volunteers. Delaware is a small state. At some points, it's only 15 miles wide, but it is 100+ miles long, and that presents some unique challenges for us, especially on onboarding new volunteers. As I was the chapter chair and prior to that have been the admin for a while, the onboarding of new volunteers has been an interesting, always been an interesting challenge. And after having mentored for 12+ years, I kind of realized that many of the mentors, new volunteers, in fact, most of them, I would say, for our chapter, come in and they have great industry experience. Here in Delaware, of course, we have a lot of large banks, and the DuPont company was here, and now there are other companies, biotech companies, and that sort of thing. So a lot of some of our volunteers come from that background. Others come from small businesses, but most of those small businesses are usually successful. And it occurred to me that one of the things that I have experienced over time as I did my mentoring, and I'm kind of a hands-on learner kind of person, was that there are a large number of local resources that are very helpful. So I'll get to my slide because there's a little bit of philosophy involved in this. So, so the in my view, worldview of SCORE, a SCORE mentor can't be everything to every client that they have, and each mentor brings with them their own individual experience, but there's a lot of other experiences that they don't have. So, for instance, at least in our chapter, mentors that have experience with social media are rare. So we have to look around for other resources to help our people. So in my view, what a mentor is, I think a mentor is an agent to assist their client in getting the appropriate resources they need. And if that SCORE mentor can provide that, that's wonderful. And if there are other resources within the chapter, other mentors who have those expertise, that's great too. But more often than not, there are other agencies out there that provide help that are more appropriate for us to refer folks to. The problem is, how do you educate new mentors that these resources actually exist? So we'll talk about kind of how my thought process as to how we can try and do that in there. So again, a big part of their philosophy has to be we don't have competitors for our services, we have partners, and that they may be better situated to deal with our clients' needs than we are. And we should have no hesitation in referring our clients to some of these other organizations and agencies because they do what they do. And there are certain things that they need. So the problem being the SCORE model favors independent consultation with clients, isolates the mentors from his peers because we work from our homes and usually have one-on-one meetings with our clients, even if we meet them. And it also isolates the mentor from learning about new or local resources. And these resources, I've come to find them through a number of ways, but a lot of it has just been doing research myself to find out who's out there and what they need. And I'll get into a little bit of that in a minute. My philosophy again here is we learn best by being engaged with our clients, but until the need exists for a service, you don't really know what's out there. So we need to have, in my mind, a convenient place to look for some of these agencies that we use quite often. So here's kind of the model for what I'm thinking about as far as what, quote, local resources are. And so it falls into a couple areas. One of the biggest ones here in Delaware, because as I'm sure many of you know, Delaware is one of the 2 or 3 states that is home to most of the large companies and corporations, and we incorporate a lot of LLCs and corporations. Sometimes we don't get such good press for that because some of them are a little dubious, but needless to say, the state of Delaware has a great apparatus for setting up these businesses and getting them started. So we often get a lot of outside mentoring requests from people who are looking to set up Delaware corporations. So for instance, in the state government area, Delaware Division of Small Business in your state probably has one as well. Office of Supplier Diversity, another one that we refer people to quite often. because they will certify businesses as veterans, minority businesses that help them get preference for state contracts. Office of the Secretary of State, they're the people that set up corporations. Delaware One Stop is a very unique resource that the state of Delaware has set up that allows people to research what licenses they need and how to go through the process. So state government, but also county and municipal governments as well have unique agencies to encourage businesses. Resource databases, another area and I'll show this in a few minutes, but how many of you, what percentage of your MREs are people who are looking for grants to start their business, even though, as we all know, you're probably not going to start your business with a grant, and you're certainly not going to sustain it. You have to have an answer for that question. So grants.gov, great resource for that. Grant Watch, that's a database for nonprofits looking for grants. There are a number of them out there, and one I didn't put on here, but we actually maintain our own local database of grants as well. For people who are doing marketing research, they need access to databases to do that research, links to census databases, which are very useful. Another one, which is a commercial reference, but we can access it for free through our local library system, is Reference USA. And there's another one called Delaware Zoom Prospector, which focuses on the state of Delaware. Again, resources to help that. Maybe the first one that you need to talk to people about is our own relationship with the SBA. The SBA offers some great training, but I would venture to say that most new mentors have no idea what the basic SBA loan process is, and may not have a contact. We're very fortunate here in Delaware. Our office is co-located with the SBA office and has been for years. We've worked with the same folks there. We're good friends with them. They do a great job. So we probably, but in some larger states, you may not be near your district office. You need to understand and have a relationship with those people at that office. And of course, satellite off of those is the Women's Business Center, the Small Business Development Center, and of course, SCORE, the resources provided by SCORE as well. Adjunct to the Small Business Development Center, which might be of interest to folks, is an organization called PTAC. And I believe that each Small Business Development Center across the country has a PTAC office as well. And what they do is they work with their clients to get state and local contracts and federal government contracts as well. So they help them with that. So again, when you get one of those new business requests that says, "Hey guys, I really want to get state contracts," we can send them to the Office of Supplier Diversity. We can connect them up with PTAC. They have the resources to do that, to tell them how to do that if they're actually going to be eligible to do it. And finally, you need to look at your local nonprofit community. We have an organization that's acronym is DANA. DANA, anybody who wants to start a nonprofit in Delaware needs to know about DANA. They need to probably need to be a member of it. DANA is a resource that almost every nonprofit in the state of Delaware is a member of. They can walk through the people through the process of setting up a nonprofit. They lobby for nonprofits, and they send out a lot of good education about how to run your board, how to select your board, how to do all those little intricate kinds of things that nonprofits have to do that a regular business doesn't have to do. Another resource might be the World Trade Center. And again, I believe that this is a quasi-government organization, works with the state of Delaware, but there's also World Trade Centers all across the country. Again, somebody wants to do importing and exporting, these are the people they need to talk to. And how many people come to you and say, "Hey, I want to start my business. And the first question you ask them is, what's your credit, right? Do you have good credit? Because you're gonna need good credit. You're gonna have to fund this probably yourself through your own credit. And they say, oh well, my credit's not so good, and my credit score is like 600. And it's like, you know what? Before you even think about starting a business, you got to fix your credit. Well, we don't do financial counseling, personal financial counseling in SCORE. At least not in our chapter, we don't. But the financial literacy does. That's an agency in the state of Delaware that is strictly devoted to helping people put together a plan to repair their credit and get back on even keel. So again, these are the kind of resources that that I've learned about over time. And then again, the final one, key resources from SCORE that I'll show you. I put right up front the startup roadmap, which is great, marketing handbook, and there are some other ones that we use quite frequently. So these are the kinds of things that the new mentor knows nothing about and has no experience with in many, many cases. So the kind of things that I wanted to put into a place that is easy to use. So going back to the broader topic of how do we educate our mentors, with the new Engage onboarding, as I'm sure you all are aware, one of the certifications that the coach has to sign off on is local resources. But quite frankly, and this is true in our chapter, and maybe in yours too, there's no program for that, and it's not a program that national can really do much for us, because obviously in every location the resources are unique to that location. So and I understand they are in the process. Maybe Catherine has later on has a comment on this, but I think they're in the process of building some kind of an outline to help people fulfill this requirement of local resource training. But we really need to do it ourselves, because the experience of people in the chapter will know who those key resources are that they access on more and more most often, and need to be presented to a new mentor without overwhelming them. Another way to educate them is chapter meeting presentations by some of these resource partners, and that helps solidify that partnership relationship as well. But again, at least in our chapter, if we get 40% of the people to attend the chapter meeting, that's lucky. So that would be a good meeting. So you're not going to reach out and touch all your mentors through that, but it's a way to do it. Coaches, great way to help with this. The coach obviously has to do the onboarding requirement. So the coach should be somebody who's experienced and knows what resources he or she has touched most frequently that the new mentor is going to need to know. Chapter newsletter is another way to promulgate presenting and these chapter partners and resources. Again, getting 100% of your chapter to open the email and actually read it is always a challenge, but it's again, in addition to the chapter meeting, another way to reach out. Attending events is also a great way to understand this. In our state, each of our 3 counties, one of the chambers in each county does a county open for business meeting, sometimes once a quarter. They bring in partners. So you set up a table there and you might be sitting next to the SBA, you're sitting next to a couple of bankers, you're sitting next to a PTAC representative. That's another way. And then you encourage your mentors to help man that table. They automatically are going to go out and have discussions with these people. Another way to do it, and we're having one of these this afternoon actually, is a mentor knowledge exchange, where we just get together and discuss our experiences. Co-mentoring, another great way. And then finally, what I really wanted to present and show you was what I did, because I think that many of these resources should be easily retrievable, so that each mentor doesn't have to keep their own library of them, and our clients can get them, and hopefully it brings traffic to our website. So what I've done is use the Browse Library page to present these and links that both our mentors and our clients can get to. So you'll see on our page here, here's some of the SCORE resources, some of the ones that I mentioned earlier, Delaware One Stop, Delaware PTAC. I found, that you could answer a lot of people's questions. They can answer their own questions by accessing some of these resources on this page. I found that the search criteria for the national resources is a little cumbersome. I would bet that a lot of our clients are turned off by that. But again, this doesn't touch any of the local resources. So I've populated this page, and anytime one of my mentors says, "Hey, I've got a great resource," I'll put it on this page. Thing. So like, here's our grant databases, grants.gov, whatever.
Excuse me. Hey, sorry to interrupt. Are you trying to share a different screen right now? We're still seeing the slide, understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that it would be, so let me get out of here. All right, let me go to.
Participants want to see what you're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 minute. Let me go back to this. Go back to the screen. Go back to this. Now we'll do a new share. Go here. Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. So again, go back and at the top of the Browse the Library page, off of this link from the home page, I have populated this with a lot of the local resources that we've used most frequently and defined it. So, here's the link to PTAC. Here's the link to the World Trade Center. Here's our reference databases that folks can use. Dana, the Delaware Alliance for Nonprofit, our grant resources, Women's Business Enterprise Center, again, an SBA partner, that sort of thing. And some links, like, for instance, this business insurance link goes to a link on the SBA site. The SBA has some great training on their site that many people are not aware of. But if you begin to explore the SBA site, you'll find this training, and they just got some really, really good basic stuff out there. So this is the way I try to expose both my mentors and making it accessible for clients who are doing their own research, and put it in one place so that mentors don't have to have. I happen to have a Dropbox that I have a lot more on of my personal ones that I found over the years, and templates and things like that. But when I find things such as that are consistently used across multiple clients, or people tell me about that are local in nature, I put them out on this page. So that's kind of my story about how we overcome this problem. And I'm going to stop sharing and come back to me. And I'd be interested to hear if other people see this as a problem, and if they have any other solutions that they found have worked for them in educating their clients. So, Catherine, it's all yours, except for questions.
All right, great. Thank you, Eric. And I will come back here. A lot of chat here. Let me just review. Eric, they like the layout of your resource links. And so a question, are they searchable within the website? I think they're supposed to go outward, right?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean accessible within the website. I'm the webmaster. I can edit that page. I do edit that page. So that's how they get out there. The links are public, they're public links. So anybody can access those links, including, the mentors. We just have to go to our website and go to that browse the library page, and there they are. I hope that answers the question.
I think so. And I think it was Jim. If you want to speak, you can actually raise your hand. I can allow you to talk. Maybe I didn't quite catch your answer. Somebody's got their hand up. Oh, Mark Cross. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, sorry. There is a Google search trick where you can actually use Google search to search the Delaware.score.org website.
Oh,
If the first search term is Delaware.score.org, then Google search will narrow it to just your website.
oh.
Great. Thank you, Mark. And a follow-up from Jim Axelrod. I saw a great link to a Women's Enterprise Council. Can I just search for women's resources?
I do not know. I haven't looked at that site for a while, so I'm not exactly sure what that is. But take a look.
Okay. And just a reminder, if you have a question, please enter it into the Q&A, or you can use the raise your hand feature and you can speak.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking at that site now, and yes, I think you should be able to pull that site up with a search for as you described.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and here's a comment and question. These are great suggestions. Are you getting feedback from either mentors or clients on whether or not clients are getting the kind of help they are looking for from these agencies?
The feedback that I've gotten from those is mostly with my own personal mentoring, because I, send people to these sites where I really, it's a great question, because, I'm not sure what the impact is on our own, on our own mentors, and whether they actually access it or not. I just, hope that if I keep drawing their attention to the resources that are there, they will eventually recognize that that's a general resource they can use when they need to.
Right.
I think each mentor probably has their own little stash of places that they actually frequently use, and hopefully that our clients are using that website. And I would have to look at the data from the web search to see if people are actually clicking on that page and clicking on those. Mm-hmm. The Google Analytics should really tell us that, but I be honest with you, I haven't really looked at it.
Right. Okay. I don't know, Eric, if you have how long have you been doing this, or when did you put it in place? And my question is getting at, when you put it in place, did you hear from mentors or members who had been there a while who were like, oh, yeah, finally, we're doing this right? Or, how was it received at your chapter when you kind of started putting it in place?
I didn't hear any complaints. Let's put it that way. I've had it out there, pretty much ever since the website was first created, which was how many years ago that, you guys rebuilt the websites, and we got rid of them maybe 6 or 8 years ago, probably, that we built the website. So basically what happens is every time I add something to that website, I send a blast out to the mentor population and say, look, there's a new one out there. So I do continue to try and wake them up that the resource exists.
Great. Okay, let's see here.
I'm kind of hoping that if we refine our onboarding program for local resources, that will be a primary topic that will be reviewed by the coaches for the folks. And again, the problem is you don't recognize the value of a resource till you have to use it yourself. So it becomes just a list to most mentors until they're really called upon to find something for their client that they need, and then all of a sudden they go, "Oh, hey, this is a good resource."
Yeah, right. So these aren't things that the new member has to fully absorb or know from A to Z. It's more that they know they're there and perhaps know the really key ones or most frequently used. Yeah. So a few things shared. Mark Crossy followed up with that Google Analytics can show usage and click-throughs. So that's one thing that you can check on your site. And then another comment came in, says, "Nice job. Did not know if Eric mentioned it or not. We have a resource at our local library, Call Meet, Book a Librarian, where they can show the client the tools they have available, which are many: demographics, competition, etc. It's great feedback from our clients."
And I would say that in the Delaware library system, in fact, we had a chapter meeting yesterday. A woman named Janet Wurtzel drives that program in Delaware, and she takes requests. The problem that she stated is that they're very sophisticated databases, and unless you're a regular user of the database, you're going to have difficulty probably trying to find what you want and defining what the search criteria are. So in the Delaware library system, you would send a request to Janet, and she would actually work with whoever the person is to refine their request and execute it. So Delaware library system is a wonderful system. I don't know if other states have it, but it's a statewide system. They've got communication up and down the state through stuff, and they have these resource databases, which again are subscription databases that if was done by a private firm would be quite expensive to access, and basically it's free for people in the state to use through the library system.
Yeah, right. Thank you. That was Jim Kornbleet from St. Louis. I think he didn't mean to be anonymous, so he followed up. But libraries, I mean, it's just I think underrated, and clients don't realize, like, wow, how much they can gather from libraries. Let's see. So this slide deck will be available. That was a question that came in, I think, a few times. Eric, I think they really liked your mind map, a nice display of all those resources. Another comment: usefulness of local agencies would be a good matter for discussion at the mentor knowledge exchanges. I love the idea of creating ongoing opportunities for mentors who work alone so that they have time to exchange ideas. Yes, thank you, Pete. So actually, Eric, if I can take advantage of that, that is something you all do in your chapter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in fact, we have one this afternoon at 3:00. I think we're going to do it quarterly so we don't stress people out. And,
overkill. Yeah. Well, cool. And Pete, I didn't know if Pete Francis, who wrote this, I didn't know if you were offering that as a suggestion at a national level. But because we do knowledge exchanges at a national level, we have one on Monday for the coaches. And but for mentors, have not organized such, that would be huge, as that covers quite a lot of us, a lot of you. But I like that idea. Any more questions? Again, throw them into the Q&A, or you may raise your hand. If you have other resources or processes that you use at your chapter that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear you. And but if let's see, all chapters should be doing this. We just started this in Southern Arizona. We call them mentor workshop. So in reference to kind of knowledge exchanges. Yeah, cool. Very good. Southern Arizona. All right. Good. Yeah, why not, right? Learn from each other. Okay. Thank you to Eric for sharing. Appreciate your sharing. Again, this has been recorded and the resources will be available on the support center. I am assuming Eric would be open to your questions after the event if they come up, or any additional information you would like. And of course, any questions on upcoming learning events, please let me know. And if that's all we have, I think it's fine to go back to our days and have some more time this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Thank you again, Eric. Eric is a regular at our learning events, or Eric has certainly come to a lot and contributed a lot. So I was very happy to have him present today on a relatively, I don't know, like this is not an evangelical, like, oh, well, this process is, but it's really essential. And I don't think all chapters are doing it. So thank you, Eric, for sharing how you all do it and why it's so important. All right. Thanks, everyone. Please take care and see you at a future event. Bye-bye, all.